Hi guys, welcome to Fierce and Pretty. Honey here. So I said that whenever my Multi-Dimensional Devas Oracle deck by Cilla Conway arrives, that I would do a walkthrough of it. And here it is, guys. And the thing with this deck, as like Cilla's other decks, I want to do this as an first reactions. So the deck comes in a bigger box than the tarot decks, and it comes with a bigger guidebook, and the guidebook is beautiful, as is the deck and the box. And again, we have color images and names to the cards. But like the last time, I want to see what my intuition thinks about these images first. So this is not going to be a proper walkthrough, and these are not the card meanings intended by the amazing creator of this deck, Cilla Conway. But I just want to see how, again, her art works in my brain. So let's do it this way. And I know at least Simon at the Hermit's Cave has done a walkthrough. I haven't watched it. And I know Kasha Tarot Map has her deck already, so she might also have a video on it. I'm gonna check all the videos afterwards, but I just wanted to experience this deck from the scratch, because I've found that Cilla's art just works wonders for me. So I just want to see how I feel about the images. And because I'm not a big oracle person, so that's one reason why I want to see what my brain blurs out, and then afterwards I'm gonna read the book and see how far I went from the intended meanings. And I think I'm gonna edit for you guys the name and the real titles of the cards, so you can grasp how far away my first impressions were. The backs of the deck are beautiful. It's like kind of a mandala there, and the deck has beautiful gilding on the sides. So this is the card number 1. It only has a mild blue dot in the middle of darkness, and it just pushes me up in the tree of life in Kether. I'm just thinking about the one, that there is only one. Then the card number 2, I kind of feel that jumping from Kether to Chokmah, when there is now 2, there is somebody observing. I feel like this little beam of light and the beam of the image is kind of like somebody is opening their eyes, and they're seeing the first glimpse of the first blue light. And for some reason, these colors and the pattern at the bottom makes me think of Mother Earth and our globe. But something in this card number 2 is really making me think of the other and the dualistic nature of things. Card number 3. There are 3 people, and there are triangles, and the beam of light coming from on top, kind of flowing down from the first card into these 3 people, and the watery feel around what looks like earth to me you know, feels very feminine, taking us to Binah and creation. I don't know if Cilla has any thoughts on the tree of life in the guidebook, don't know, but that's kind of what's coming to me. And this is the creation. Those two people have created the third. And the fourth card is just beautiful with the colors. And then there are a lot of people. They are, you know, multiplying. But something in this feels kind of really Three of Wands to me. Kind of really creative. There is some sort of creation that I'm getting out of this. In the beauty. I can't wait to read the card titles and the meanings. But the colors are amazing. The fifth card is just pure light. These colors, these yellows and then the purple hues, kind of makes me think of really high vibrations. And the sixth card is really watery, in a turmoil. Kind of makes me think of the art card in Thoth deck. I feel like I'm inside the cauldron of the temperance figure in the Thoth deck. Kind of feels like that mixing of the two inside the cauldron, where she's pouring the two liquids. And the seventh card is like, it looks like kind of a nuclear bomb, but a beautiful, like the Big Bang, but it's too light, it's too pretty for the Big Bang, but it's some sort of eruption. Something is bursting out, but it doesn't feel like the first burst of the universe. It's just, or then it could also be a tree. Now when I look at it, it can be a tree. And at first sight it just looked like something is exploding and this would be the cloud, but it could also be a tree in front of mountains. But then I see also a rainbow there. But it's all like, is a rainbow or a bridge, or the rainbow bridge. Yeah, for some reason this kind of makes me think of Atlantis, or the image of Atlantis that I could imagine. The eighth card, it looks like a flower opening to me, like a little astral version of the flower inside a fountain. Like the real flower could be here in our dimension, but this looks like that same flower on another dimension. To me, this card looks like a dream. Like the dream is the blurry, cloudy material around it, but then inside there's beauty. Like there's some sort of temple-looking buildings and the beauty in there. But you're kind of looking at it from the outside. Something really dreamy in the ninth card. The 10th card is, it just vibrates to me. It's vibration of the, I don't know, vibration of the universe, or then with the colors, it could be like the different hertz that you have with this different chakra meditation music. Is like you have all the vibrations mixing into this bright light in the middle, but there is something concrete underneath it. from where it's going or coming from. And I don't know. The 11th card. This is clearly a light being. It feels like a she. It feels like a loving, feminine kind of angelic figure to me. Something really loving. The 12th card is really blue, kind of feels, when I look at it, it feels in my throat. But even though it's beautiful and it's got all these rainbow colors in its wings, this creature, still I get some sort of a not only positive feeling, I can't say negative, but there's something weighing. This is heavier in a way than, for example, the 11th card. There's something heavier in this that pressures me in my throat. The 13th card is like a sacred garden to me. It's like a safe haven. I feel like there's water and the nature and this protecting light creature. It feels really safe, like whoever gets to be in this place is really protected. The 14th card makes me immediately think of Saturnarium's Rider-Waite-Smith deck that is super hippie, and I don't know its name, but this is intense colors, and it's like too much, and it's just bursting out and swirling. This makes me think of a mushroom trip in the 70s. Really interested to see where this card could be taking. Hallucination-like image to me. Something in this 15th card makes me feel separation, kind of like all the oneness is dividing. It's kind of dividing to two and walking different directions. Somehow I feel the separation here. Then after that separation in the 16th card, there is kind of a turmoil, but at the end there is the light at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel is looking that you still have many things to face before you are, out of the deep waters. This looks really like a guardian angel to me, like a really experienced guardian angel from the beginning of time, who will be escorting the person, whomever it was that went into this tunnel, that kind of they are in the blue-green area there now, and this guardian is escorting and making sure that nothing too bad could happen, even though it is a darker place. The 18th card is really interesting. This makes me think of different techniques, how you can use energy and move the energy through the earth and through the heaven, through your root chakra and through your crown chakra, and make the energy flow in an endless loop through you. It's kind of raising the vibrations and raising the energy and letting it sizzle in every cell of your body. This one, the card 19, I feel that this one is kind of lost. Is lost in the desert. Yeah, there's a sandstorm, but still it's sunny. But I get a lost feeling. Kind of where to go and what to do. And blinded by, it could be blinded by light, but it also could be blinded by the sand, just blowing all the earthly stuff that, rising with the wind and then blurring the vision. Card number 20. It's kind of like how I would imagine the Bermuda Triangle. Something that just sucks everything in it. It's just something that is inevitable. If you get on the edges of this vacuum, you would be sucked in, and then you wouldn't have any other choice than just to surrender and see what happens. This feels really positive after that. I kind of feel that if you have been sucked into the Bermuda Triangle, but there is someone else to catch you. There is someone who's catching the other one. You don't have to be alone there. You are supported and you are guided. You are not alone. This is how this card speaks to me, that you are not alone, even though you feel that you're drowning. This is really interesting compared to the earlier cards. The color palette is so interesting. Those have been very watery to me and really astral, but this feels really earthy. It's card number 22, and it feels really earthy. And I feel like there's somebody sitting. It could be like a shaman type of figure if he would be holding a drum, but there is someone, but they kind of look really rooted into the ground. And all that is swirling around is inside them. It's not external, it's internal. Kind of like a deep trance meditation type of feeling. This being feels really experienced. Like he really knows his shit. This card, number 23, is like pure relaxation. It's like an endless vacation. Is like when all the emotions are balanced and the sun is setting, and then there's the beautiful day behind, but then there's also, that there's a beautiful day ahead. Really tranquil and calm. Like kind of that feeling that not many of us can reach inside this rat race that we are living. When you only have like weekends off or something, you never have time to let go. You never have time to truly let go and relax. Not even a 4-week summer vacation could do that. But this feels like they have learned to just relax. This is the card number 24, and I get really suspicious looking at this. I feel like there are people watching. There's somebody watching. There's somebody. There are people observing and lurking. And even though the colors are not really feeling bad, it's feeling a light colors. But to me, something in this feels that I'm being watched. And I don't think that I feel that they are watching in a good way. Not like they are protecting me. It's amazing how these colors just jump, and the emotions, and how different all these are from one another. And this 25, for some reason I see an airplane there for some reason. And it's coming out from the darkness, and is like moving towards the lighter area. Feels like leaving something really bad behind. I don't know. Number 26 is first like a really clear card. Is like the evolution. It's just starting, swirling from the inner depths, and then it's amazing how realistic all those animals and creatures look, and they are so small. They are smaller than the nail of my pinky finger, but this image is just amazing. How I can recognize each of these animals that are, swirling in the circle of life on Earth. It's just beautiful. Card number 27. This could even kind of be the card of Lovers in Tarot deck. I see two faces up there. This one looks clearly feminine to me. And this one, I don't know. This one looks more human, and this looks more like, I don't know, a cat or a pet or some sort of familiar. But there's two energies mixing. But they are vibrating together. There's some sort of harmony there. And there's the swirling and kind of like early stages of a relationship, when the two kind of are so in love that they start to mix, and then they don't know where the other one starts and where the other one ends. Card number 28. The first thing that comes to me is like getting older and letting go. I don't know. For some reason this image brought me the idea of me finally accepting one day, whenever I will be really old, and accepting that it's just part of the evolution, and kind of just dancing towards the sunset on top of the waves, kind of feeling really supported, kind of transferring to another phase. The card number 29, she's beautiful. She's really kind of like magical, kind of like fairy feeling beautiful creature. Kind of feels like she's a water nymph, but still she's on the ground. But there's something really watery about her, even though you can clearly see that she's rising up from the earth. But I feel like it's one of those fairies that can live in the forest of Finland, and then you have a little lake in the forest, and then this one could live in that lake, and on the late evenings or in the early morning mist she would rise up from the pond and walk upon the earth just for a brief moment before she has to return. There's kind of that bittersweet beauty in this image in some way. Card number 30 feels heavy. I don't know if she's leaving all those creatures behind her that are weighing, if she's getting free, or are they coming? But it all feels, all these bigger and bigger and bigger, is like the weight that she has been probably carrying. Or then it could be like the past generations that have gone before us, that they are there, how we are the continuation from them. I don't know. It's card number 31, and I feel like we are shifting dimensions again. This feels a lot more spacey, and I get tingles in my thighs. It feels like vibration. This one is a high frequency, for sure. It is a frequency. But then again, this image, 32, doesn't feel spacey at all to me. This feels like inside Earth, like in the core of Earth. And for some reason this feels really earthy and inside the Earth. It's kind of like Ace of Discs or Ace of Coins kind of feeling in a way. I don't know. This one gets dark. It's like November in Finland. I can almost see a jaw from a skull in there, but then again I can't. This is a heavier, darker energy. This one is not. It's like the rainy Monday morning in November. Definitely not a happy card. I'm so interested to really see what these cards are all about, because I'm just, going off with my feelings here. In this one I feel the first word that comes to mind is surrender. She's kind of surrendering for sorrow, for pain. I feel that there is someone who's scrunched over, even though there might not be, but I feel like those are her feet. One of those days that you just stay under the blankets and cry, kind of feel separated from the world, or then you're just so in your own worries and inside your own head. I'm so happy to see that we have these darker cards. This kind of feels like the ego is dying. I don't know. It's splitting in half. You're almost there. It's cracking open the nasty, gnarly ego. It's fiery and it's trying to fight. It's trying to fight, but I feel like it's the struggle when you don't want to surrender. It doesn't want to surrender, but it kind of knows that the game is lost already. And like this one follows after, I think that's brilliant, because this number 36, it just feels like this is what bursted out from inside that nasty looking fire monster type of creature. But now the fire is running free, and this feels really powerful. Like this one is really owning it. It's like it's just bursting out. This one is open and born again in a way. Well, this one is interesting. It's number 37, and to me it looks like a greedy toad. It looks like a frog, like a toad who's eating all the coins or whatever. But this feels like greed. He's just greedy, selfish. I don't know. This doesn't feel like a pleasant, situation or person or anything. It just feels greed and jealousy, and it's just feeding itself and getting more, filled with its own lies. I don't know. The number 38, it's making me feel kind of dizzy in a way. Like this feels like falling. Kind of the feeling when you wake up from your sleep when you think you're falling. This kind of feels like that. Again, I feel change because this deck, I know it's built in different levels, and I feel like a change of level here. And somehow this card immediately makes me think of this kind of change of perspective. There's clearly earth, but there's some sort of mist still covering it. It's like veiled. The earth is veiled, but then you see the stars. But now you're kind of getting the picture now. The image is getting clearer. And then in the number 40, we have a green tornado. Is like fiery and earthy tornado. It's just, I don't know. Is it all the worries? This is kind of like when you go to bed and then you're supposed to sleep, but then all the bad thoughts start circling. You start worrying about money, or you start worrying about job, or you start worrying about, I don't know, your health, whatever. These are like the bad thoughts in the evening that just go on an endless loop. And after half an hour you realize, oh my God, why am I thinking like this? I need to, cut this pattern and think something prettier. And then comes a fish. This is a surprise. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a happy, healthy fish. It's like a sad fish to me. Like he's saying, see me. I am also here. Don't forget me. Don't neglect me. I don't know. It makes me think of my brother, who is a scuba diver and who likes to take care of the sea and the waters and the creatures in the waters, like us who live on top of the earth most of the time. Like we forget that we are not the only one who need protection and who needs to be taken care of. That it's not just us that we have to consider. The number 42 takes me into the desert. Loneliness and death in a way. Everything is dry. There's no water. It's just everything is dried out. There's nothing left to grow. And it's just the dried tree is hanging on there. It's like still trying, but feel like there's no hope. It would take a miracle to recover from this. And this little creature makes me think of a butterfly. It's like a butterfly who's holding its hands on its foreheads, like, what have I done, in a way? Or like, I can't believe this is happening. It's like it's shaking its head like, no, this can't be happening. Then in the card number 44, we again see kind of a globe, but for some reason it feels like you're looking at it in a mirror or through a window or something. You're peeking into something. It's like a vision. The card number 45 could be the Judgment card, easily. It has the vibe. You are rising up. You are coming up from Malkuth all the way up to Kether. Is like enlightenment. Is like really understanding what it's all about, and of letting go and surrendering to that. It's a beautiful, like the sound and the vibration is just rising. And all you have to do is to, let yourself be elevated. Oh my gosh, this 46 looks powerful. I didn't see it at first, and when I saw it, I got scared. First, I only saw the happiness up there and the earth, but I missed the face. I missed the one who's holding the globe in her hands. And the kind of Atlantic scenery is happening in her hair. Is the rainbows and the beauty is all exploding in her head. That's all. There are harps and somebody dancing and flowers and trees and birds and all these beautiful things. But something in her eyes and in that face, on that expression, it feels possessive and really fierce and kind of even a wee bit scary in a way. It's like it's trying to hold and protect, but not in a greedy way, but in a very protective way, like you can't cross this. It's like the guardian, and is looking straight to the eye of the one who's trying to take it or mess it. And she's just winning the battle with that fierce look in her eyes. This card really spooked me in the beginning when I first saw her face. She just popped in there. Again, this card is a sound. It's a sound rather than an image. It resonates, it vibrates, but on a whole new level of light and bright. In some way it's even too bright. It just resonates. The card number 48, the last card, is like kind of pushing through even further from Kether, through Ein Sof Hour, pushing through that. It kind of feels that it's cracking open in the middle. It's cracking open, but for some reason I feel like it's not the end, but it's a beginning, and it all starts again in a loop, if you know what I mean. Like then the deck just ends, but then it goes to the first one, and then it starts building again. It's a never-ending cycle. You feel like you need to reach the top, but when you reach the top, there is no end. It only continues. So these were my first reactions to the Multi-Dimensional Devas, the 11 Dimensions of Creation deck. And it sure is powerful. It's like, whoa, there's thunder outside. When I started filming, it was just sunshine. Now the sky is getting gray and there's thunder coming. Kind of a fitting weather to go through this deck, because it was such an, roller coaster of beauty and light and darkness and depth. Truly is wonderful. But I'm super intrigued of seeing how I will be able to work with this deck, because it's truly a different type of oracle deck, and I can't wait to pair it with my Shimmering Veil Tarot, because I saw Kasha Tarot Map posting a picture with those two together and it looked just simply perfect. And as always in my tarot or deck reviews, I'm gonna give it a shuffle. It feels a bit odd because it's not as thick as a tarot deck, but the card quality is amazing. Shuffles really well. I'm going to shuffle it for a while away from the camera because it's limiting my space, and then I'm going to draw up one card for us and read it from the guidebook, so we get at least something valuable, hopefully, in this weird initial response video. Okay, the deck is shuffled. Interesting. This was one of the cards that really interested me. It's the card number 30. And let's see what the guidebook has to say about it. It's called the Wisdom Keepers. The image shows a woman facing us, while other traditional wisdom keepers surround her. These could be ancestors. Yeah, so I was kind of close there. Yeah, on my second guess. Or non-physical energies, such as the etheric and astral bodies. Each ancestor increases in stature around the woman, indicating that the old traditional knowledge is still available through our understanding has decreased over time. Today, the amount of knowledge available to us is still impressive, though we consider this wisdom to be irrelevant, primitive folk knowledge that has no importance in today's world with its microchips, instant communication, and global trade agreements. And yet, their way is about humanity, about concern for their fellow humans and the ability to live with reasonable constraints. Tribal cultures were not all peaceful. And so it goes on. But it was the ancestors, the people who have gone before us. But I guess in some way we can also feel the weight of them in our shoulders when we want to be worthy and live up to the expectations and try to do better. And just because I wanted to show you guys how beautiful these two decks look together, I digged out my Shimmering Veil Tarot. If you haven't seen my first reactions to that, I can link it at the end of this video so you can see the Shimmering Veil if you don't know this deck already. But it's a tarot deck by Cilla Conway, the same artist. And I'm gonna do a little spread with both of these. The rain is really hitting and the wind is getting harder and harder. And I'm shuffling the deck and I feel chills running around my spine. I hope you can hear the thunder roaring. So let's see what we got out of the Shimmering Veil and the Multi-Dimensional Devas. We got the Three of Waters, so the Three of Cups. Beautiful, coming together and sharing that emotion. Kind of makes me think back on the last weekend I had. I got to spend the whole weekend with my best friends and with the hubby. For the longest time I felt the connection and the happiness with others, because we all have felt a lot of solitude these past year and over already. So the merry times. And then we got the beautiful Ace of Waters, that beginning of the emotion and something waking up. That's what I felt. It felt like coming together we haven't seen in a long time, and it kind of built something new, that this new happiness growing in me. Look at the colors. Look at all the blues that came out. And blue has a lot of significance to me personally after last weekend, because I had this really deep meditational experience with the color blue. And so I'm finding all this blue really fascinating. But I want to see from the guidebook once again, what is the card number 39, this veiled globe. What is, for me it feels like a new beginning, like this weekend that I had. It's giving me opportunity for a fresh start and letting go of the not so positive vibes of the past year or so, and kind of the clouds are shifting and the world is opening in a clear view. But let's see what the guidebook says about it. It's named The Shadow. At an early stage in this deck's creation, I showed someone being dragged down into a crimson netherworld by dark claws, which are not just the figure's personal demons, but mankind's. However, as time moved on, it's become painfully clear to me and others that we are experiencing a resurgence of the collective shadow of humanity. Slowly but surely, a century ago, the shadow began to make itself felt, but for many years it was ignored through intolerance and apathy, and later through ignorance and lack of will on the part of the majority. Incredibly, an almost identical scenario is now unfolding in the West, partly to COVID-19 and partly to the shadow side of humanity, the dark energies that we hook into at our peril. It's really the hairs in my arms are raising up as I read this, because just how I felt the weight of the past year, like with this COVID shit and everything. But luckily I feel that the veil is moving. It's talking about the shadow and how to work with it, and I have felt the shadow strongly during these times, and I kind of feel that what could help me to face this shadow is not just closing in and being in solitude, but also finding the comfort in the others, changing, taking responsibility of my emotions and working the shadow from that aspect. But I love the blue. It really moves me, and I love how beautiful these cards look together. I can just draw a few others so you can see how it looks. Layers upon layers, dimensions after dimensions. I think this deck is just gorgeous, and I feel that because the Shimmering Veil is my favorite tarot deck now to use, and I believe that I'm gonna be working these two a lot together to get to know the devas in this deck. And I think this beautiful guardian angel type figure, good closing card for this video. Thank you, Cilla, for yet again creating a beautiful, beautiful deck for us. Until next time, bye guys.